Hi, it's Marietta again. Welcome back to Yama Yoga's online yoga studio. We're really glad that you're able to join us. And today, I felt that because most of us have felt a little powerless lately, and one of the places that we can go to for our sense of power and action is to our third chakra, Manipura chakra, at the center of the navel. So we're going to work in with a little bit of twists. And then mostly we're going to do some core strength. Yay, you guys who know me, I know you're thrilled. So hopefully none of you had a big meal right before you turned on this video. If you did, turn it off, give yourself an hour, and come on back. So if you have props in your house, I'm going to suggest that you have something that you can put down on your mat that'll soften your mat a little bit, like a blanket, or maybe a secondary mat if you have a hardwood floor, and also a block. If you don't have a block at your house, I'm going to suggest that you use a rolled up blanket or maybe a towel that you can use. We're only going to be using it for a couple of things, but it might be helpful. So having said that, come to a seated posture. And we're going to start off with a little bit of breath. We're going to work with skull shining breath or locomotive breath, Kapalabhati, which is one of those things that activates the core strength and activates the body at the navel center. So take your hands to that end and put them on your navel center. So maybe just at the diaphragm and just below the diaphragm at the navel center. And have both hands there. I want you to just feel your breath moving in and out. So take a deep breath in and expand your belly into your hands. No holding the belly in. This isn't a gym class, so you don't have to look like you're sucking your belly in. So let it just completely expand out. And then exhale, let it retreat. Let it expand out again. And then let it retreat. Feeling your navel draw back up towards your spine as you do that. And let the rest of your body feel pretty relaxed in this. And then one more time. And then just come to a normal breath. And we're going to start the breath breathing into your hand. So with Kapalabhati, the entire breath is based on the exhale. The inhale is automatic. So it's you may want to have a tissue around in case your nose gets a little wet from doing that. Or again, in your sleeve. But holding onto your belly, allowing the breath to pump like a little bellows into your hand, like a fireplace bellows. So let's try that a couple of times without the count. And you notice when I do that my belly moves in and out. So with my belly moving in and out, I'm going to feel that with my hand. So the breath is not coming from the throat. It's coming from the navel center. And I'm going to count for you. We're going to do 25 and then 3 breaths. 25, 3 breaths, 25, and 3 breaths. And at the end of that, you might feel like a little light bulb got turned on right in your skull as you bring that blood flow into the brain. So again, get set up in your seat. Take your hands onto your navel center. And you can have your eyes closed. You can have your eyes soft, looking down towards the ground. If you feel any discomfort in this, just back off the volume and back off the depth of the breath, especially if you have any kind of blood pressure issues. So keeping your hands here, let's start a breath into your hands. Take a deep breath in. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. 3 breaths in. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale in. 25 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale in and out. Inhale in and out. Inhale in and out. Last round. Inhale in. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale in and out. In and out. In and out. I lied. One more round. Take a deep breath in. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale in and out. Close your eyes. In and out. In and out. And just feel that shine in the inside of your skull. And feel a little warmth coming into your hand. Your navel center got activated. That sense of power, will, and action. You can let your eyes open and take your hands to your sides. So staying here for just a moment, find a comfortable way of sitting. If it doesn't feel comfortable as you are now, you can switch the interlace of your feet, or you can come up onto your feet if you'd like to. But staying here, just slide your right hand out towards the right side. Let your right hand reach out, and as you do, bend your elbow down towards the ground. And take your left arm and reach it straight up to the sky. Before you try to lean over to the right side, extend from your hip point to your fingertips, and reaching up towards your thumb, trying to reach your middle finger and your ring finger up towards the sky. Let your head just drop over towards the right side. As you feel that activation in the neck and the ribs, and the QL muscles and the hip flexors, bring your arm across your ear, reaching across towards the right side, leaning across and bending a little bit more deeply into your elbow. Spread your fingers wide, get active in your hands, crazy jazz hands, and then turn your armpit a little bit more inward so you can bring your breath underneath your shoulder blade. Take a deep breath in and exhale, go just a little deeper. And then just leave your body and your head where it is and reach your left hand down to the left side and reach for the floor like you're going to touch the floor with your fingers. Stay there and let the breath come in behind your ear, down your neck, through the shoulder, and down to the edges of your fingers. And let that energy just draw you back up to center. Keep your head on your right shoulder all the way up. When your fingers touch down, put your right palm to the right side of your face. Or if you're not touching your face these days, you can use your wrist and you can lift your head back up. And then bring your hands back onto the floor and start to slide out on the left. As you slide out on the left, remember to keep your right sit bone grounded as you bend into your left elbow. And as you reach across, take your right arm up to the sky and let your left arm bend a little deeper. And then begin to bring it across your ear. And as you bring it across, let your head drop left. Let your ear drop left. Turn your armpit a little more inward, jazz hands. And let your head drop a little more left. Pressing the right leg, right thigh, right sit bone down into the ground. When you feel you've gone as far as you can go, breathing into your armpit, your lymph glands, your rib cage, your kidneys, release your right hand to the right side and reach for the floor. As you reach for the floor, feel that stretch from your right ear all the way down your shoulder, into your arm, and into your fingertips. Let that draw you back up to center with your head still on the left. And again, with the palm of your hand or your wrist, lift your head back up to center. Good job. Awesome. So let's just take a moment to just rotate your shoulders. Rotate first your right shoulder, towards the back. And then your left shoulder towards the back. And then your right shoulder towards the front. And your left shoulder towards the front. And then both shoulders towards the back. And both shoulders towards the front. And then come back to center. Reach back and switch the interlace of your feet, or if you're sitting upright, you can just stay as you are. And take your right hand around the back and bring it as close to your tailbone as you can. Take your left hand to your right knee and start to lengthen up. As you lengthen up, begin to move from that navel center, allowing the navel center to initiate all the movement, coming from the belly button, the heart, the throat, and then the third eye, over your right shoulder. Keep that for just a moment. And then take a deep breath up, pressing into your hand in the back. Get a little bit deeper in the ribs. And on the exhale, go a little bit further around, trying to look all the way back behind you. Keep your hip points facing to front. And then release and uncoil just the way you went in. Bring your hands back to the side of the mat. And then take your left hand around to the back and bring it as close to your tailbone as you can. Take your right hand across to your left knee and start to make that turn over the left shoulder. As you do, try to initiate the movement from your navel center, drawing up through the heart, through the throat, and the third eye as you reach through those chakras, moving towards the rear. As you get all the way around over your left shoulder, try to gaze behind you. And square your hips again to the front. They may have gotten a little kitty wampus, so get them to the front again. And then see if you can press up into the back hand, get a little taller, and turn a little more deeply on the exhale. And then just uncoil from the center, coming all the way back to the center. Good job. And release your back down to the side. And we're going to come up onto our shins. So bring your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. And you can move, if you had a blanket or a bolster underneath, you can move it out of the way. And take your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. And first get grounded into your hands. So remember that you're trying to set your foundation into your hands, your knees, your shins, and the tops of your feet. And we're just going to arc our back just a little bit up towards the sky. And just feel where the highest point is when you do that. And then inhale, change the curve, and lift your heart towards the front edge of the mat. As you do that, remember that this is about your core strength. So draw your belly button away from your shirt and up into your spine, keeping the arms nice and straight, maybe even rotating the eyes of the elbows towards their respective thumbs. And let your heart shine forward into the front edge of your mat. And on the exhale, contract inward, lift the back of your heart up. And as you inhale, draw your heart forward. And exhale, contract. Inhale, expand. One more time. Exhale, contract. And inhale, expand. And come back to a neutral spine. Get your hands set solidly underneath you and take your right foot back, press your right toes into the ground, move them a little closer, and press back through the heel of your foot. Trying to stretch out a little bit in the hammies. And also starting to activate and initiate that action from your navel center. And then lift your leg up and lift your left arm up. And hold that balancing table for a moment or two while we work on a little bit more Kapalabhati. So we're going to do a round of 5. Take a deep breath in. Release. Bring your hand back down. Bring your knee back down. We could have done 10, but 5's good enough for today. And then let's ground into that opposite side, left foot back. Reach your toes back and move your toes a little closer to your hands so you can stretch back through the arch of your foot. Get grounded. And then lift your left leg up to the height of your hip, pressing back through the heel of your foot. Take your right arm out to the front and find your balance. You can look up, you can look down, you can look out. Just don't crank the back of your neck. Pin your spine with the navel center. We're going to take another 5 Kapalabhati. Take a deep breath in. Release your hand. Release your knee. Good job. And we're going to do that one more time. We're going to add a new element to it. So take your right foot back. This time, just let it reach back through your heel. Take your left arm. Exhale, nose to knee, knee to nose. Curl in. Inhale, back out. Exhale, nose to knee, knee to nose. Curl in. Inhale, back out. Exhale, nose to knee to nose. Curl in. Inhale, back out. One more. Nose to knee to nose. Curl in. Hold it for an extra breath. And inhale, back out. Release your hand. Release your knee. If you need a moment or two, you can just stay here and sway for a moment as we work the other side. Take your left foot back. Take your right arm out. And on the exhale, nose to knee to nose, curl in. Inhale, back out. Exhale, nose to knee to nose, curl in. Inhale, back out. Exhale, nose to knee to nose, curl in. Inhale, back out. One more. Nose to knee to nose, curl in. Stay there for a moment. Out. And release your hand. Release your knee. Good job. All right, so let's come down a little bit further, bringing your knees further back, bringing your hands further forward. And then release your body down over your wrists. So now you're kind of not in that tabletop anymore. You're in some variation of up dog or cobra. So your knee is on the ground, your tops of your toenails, tops of your knuckles are on the floor, and you're reaching your heart forward through the hole. Take another breath and draw your diaphragm and your belly button through, like you're trying to pull your body across the floor. And on the exhale, curl in and drop back into a child's pose. Inhale, roll back up. Drop in, lift your heart and drag your heart through the hole. And on the exhale, draw back. And then inhale, come forward, lift your heart. This time, bend your knees, reach your toes towards your head and your head towards your toes. And then release and draw back. And sit back in your child's pose for a moment. Just feel the heat starting to generate in your body. Feel your navel center starting to come alive just a little bit. You can rock a bit from side to side. Reaching into the mat. And if you have a blanket on your mat, you may want to take it off your mat so you're not sliding on it. And we can put it back down again if we need it for padding. So coming back onto your hands and knees. Bring your hands just a little bit further forward. And this time draw your breath right out over your wrists. And on the exhale, elbows in towards your ribs, chest and chin, almost to the ground. Come back up, draw back into your child's pose again. Come all the way back up. Exhale, chest and chin. Back up. Exhale back into child's pose. Inhale back up. Exhale, chest and chin. Come back up and back into child's pose. And one more time, come back in, chest and chin. Inhale straight up. Exhale straight down. Inhale straight up. Exhale straight down. Inhale straight up and go back into child's pose. Whew, that was fun, wasn't it? And then just walk around a little bit in your hips. Good. Stay here for a moment. And then roll back up onto your hands and knees. This time when you drop forward, curl your back toes under and lift up and back into downward facing dog. When you get into your downward dog, remember to align yourself in the same distance you are in plank. Come back into your downward dog and draw your sit bones all the way up to the sky. Come up on the balls of your feet and let your heart melt back towards your thighs and press away from the front edge of your mat, allowing all of the digits of your hands to attach to the ground. And then start to draw the calf muscles and the Achilles tendons back towards the back wall to bring your heels as close to the ground. If your heels don't automatically touch the ground, that's fine. It's just an overrated thing to get your heels all the way down. Some of us just don't have those kinds of Achilles tendons. So turn your armpits inward and the biceps to the outside and widen across. Take another breath or two here. And then move your feet just a little more towards center and take your right foot up to the sky. Reach your right foot up, sink into your left heel. On the exhale, nose to knee to nose, curl in. Inhale, back up. Exhale, nose to knee to nose, curl in. Inhale, back up. Exhale, nose to knee to nose, curl in. Inhale, back up. Last one, nose to knee to nose, curl in. Inhale, back up. And release your foot back down. And just stay here for a moment, or if you need, come down. Take a break. Reaching back, allowing yourself to just feel the energy pulsing through your body. Feel the strength coming into your core center. And then roll back up. Bring yourself back out over your wrists, curl your back toes under, and reach up and back into downward facing dog. And bring your feet just a little bit closer to each other. Take your left foot up to the sky, reach up, sink into your right heel on the exhale, nose to knee to nose, curl in. Inhale, back up. Exhale, nose to knee to nose, curl in. Inhale, back up. Exhale, nose to knee to nose, curl in. Inhale, back up. Last one. Nose to knee to nose. Curl in. Inhale, back up. And release your foot back down. And come back down into your child's pose. And lengthen back. Give yourself another little rock. And stay here for just another breath or two. And then release back up onto your hands and knees. So we're going to do something a little bit different. You may have never tried this, but it's a really great way to work your core. I hate wearing a headset, so bear with me while I do this, and my headset moves around. But we want to be able to hear my instructions pretty well on the video. So we're going to do something that's part of a practice that isn't done here in Wisconsin. The only place is one place in Chicago. It's called Budokan. And Budokan is a cross between mixed martial arts and yoga. And it's one of the best core workouts I know, is a variation on your standard vinyasa. So instead of doing a plank to chaturanga to up dog to down dog, it's taking it as what's called a rolling wave. So it becomes more core intensive. And for me, it's actually a better practice because I have an old shoulder injury from about 25 years ago when I first started teaching. So it'll be a great opportunity for you to try something different if your shoulders don't like a traditional chaturanga. So we're going to start off just as we did before, and you can let me do one with you, and then you can try them on your own a few times, but I'll call them through for you. But they're really great fun. So you're going to bring your hands back out, and it's very important. The most important thing is to make sure that you're exactly the same distance from hands to feet as you would be in plank. So walking your hands out, come forward, curl your toes under, and come into plank. And from your standard plank, just draw your navel up away from your shirt, draw it up into your spine, get really strong in that area, and then press back into your downward facing dog. Keep your feet even on the ground and toes facing forward, and come up on the balls of your feet. Get as high up on the balls of your feet as you can, and drop your heart towards your thighs, almost to where your head can touch the ground. And then start to roll forward, rounding your upper back, rounding your shoulder blades, coming all the way forward until you can drop your hips down and come into an up dog. And then round your shoulders again, come all the way back up, reach back up, lift up through the tailbone, come back into your heels. So hopefully that worked out for you. I'm going to readjust my headset again. And I'm going to do one more with you and see if you like it. So if you don't like it, you can do a traditional vinyasa. But let's try it one more time. Let's come back up onto your hands and knees. Walk your hands out forward. Curl your back toes under and lift up into plank. Make sure you're the same distance as you would be in plank and come all the way back into your downward dog. Anchor through your hands. This is where it's really important to have a good grippy mat because you really need to keep your feet and hands where they're supposed to be. And then lift up onto the balls of your feet. Lift your sit bones up to the sky. Drop your heart towards your shins. And then start to roll forward with your upper back, shoulders, mid back, middle back, lower back, heart through the hole, tail tucking down. And then press back, lift up, round, drop your head in, coil back, lift up, and come all the way back. And back into your heels. And then release and come back into your child's pose. This time when you come into your child's pose, widen your knees, put your toes touching, and draw your heart through the hole. And bring your arms all the way out to the front. And let your head just drop down onto the ground. And reach out through your finger pads. Take a couple of long, deep, expansive breaths. And then when you're ready, just come on back up onto your hands and knees. Good job. We're just going to come up onto our hands and knees again. Bring your hands out towards the front. And again, draw your navel up away from your shirt and up into your spine. And then just turn and try to bring your shoulder to your hip and your hip to your shoulder. Like you're trying to touch them together on the side. And then bring them back through center. And move your left shoulder to your left hip and your left hip to your left shoulder and squeeze. And come back to center. Lift your heart up towards the front edge of your mat. Drag your hands isometrically back towards your knees to bring a little more energy into everything. Step your knees back a hair, curl your back toes under, and lift up and back into downward facing dog yet again. And we're just going to walk our feet forward towards the front edge of your mat. As you come to the front edge of your mat, allow yourself to hinge from the hip down towards the ground. Bring your hands towards the earth, maybe pressing your fingertips into the earth for a moment. And then find all four corners of your feet on the ground, making sure your feet are facing directly forward. Then let your hands just press into the ground again and let your head drop down. Take 2 breaths here, nice long deep breaths. And then bring your hands to your shins, jackknife halfway up. Exhale, fold. Press down through your feet and rise up, lift up to the sky, circle back up, and bring your hands to the center of your heart. Just close your eyes for a moment or two and feel the heat coming into your body. Feel the energy rising up from the ground. Think about the energy coming up to the inner seam of the leg, circling back around the hips and going back down the outer side of the legs so that all four corners of the feet are truly grounded. And then take another deep breath in and bring your arms up to the sky, looking just a little bit up towards the ceiling without cranking your neck, keeping that soft curve in the upper cervical spine. And on the exhale, drop into a chair. So when you come into Utkatasana, bring your hands to your heart. And we're going to take our left elbow to the outside of the right knee and start to turn from the navel center. Again, squaring your sit bones to the back edge of the mat, making sure your knees stay even. Turn and lift and look towards the right side. Press your palms into one another, or you can do fist over fist and turn and lift towards the sky. Keep your knees even. And then come on back to center. Inhale up. Reach up to the sky. And on the exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Press down through your feet and rise up. Lift up to the sky. Circle back up, looking up towards the sky. Come into a chair. And bring your palms to the center of your heart. Take your right elbow to the outside of your left knee and start to make that turn towards the left side of your mat. Get your knees even, sit bones even, and press and lift and turn. And maybe you can make fist over fist and turn. Stay here for a moment. And then release. Come back to center. Inhale back up to the sky, reaching back up. And on the exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees and step your left foot back. Put your left knee back down on the ground. Bring yourself up onto your right knee. Take your right hand and reach it around the back. Take your left hand around the front and start to make that turn to the right side. And notice if your hips start to get uneven. See if you can squeeze your front heel back and your back knee forward. And as you do, drop into the front leg just a little bit more. Scoop the tailbone under and lengthen up through the spine. If you want to take this a little bit further, you can do that twist again with the elbow on the outside of the knee. Again, turning towards the right side, pressing your knee into your arm and your arm into your knee. Turn and lift over the side. And then release. Bring it back to the center. Bring your hands back onto the mat. Curl your back toe under, lengthen the back leg, and step up to the front of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Press down through your feet and rise up. Lift up to the sky again. And on the exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees and step your right foot all the way back. And bring your right knee to the ground. Come up onto your left knee. And as you do, reach up. Press forward into the front leg. And scoop the tailbone under just a little bit to feel that stretch in the quad. I'm going to take your left hand around the back and take your right hand to the outside of your left hip and start making that turn. As you do, try to turn your heart, just as we did when we were seated, and then scrub your front heel back and your back knee forward, trying to come to the center line again, turning over your left shoulder. And then release. Come on back to center. Bring your hands back alongside your foot. Curl your back toe under and step back into downward facing dog. You can either knees, chest, and chin, plank to chaturanga, and come into an up dog, cobra, or a sphinx. We're going to end up in sphinx. So whatever you decide to do, end up in sphinx. So once you come into your sphinx pose, allow your hands to just reach out on the front edge of your mat and anchor through the thumb, index, and pinky finger ball mount as you scrub your elbows back towards your hips. And make sure your elbows are right underneath your shoulders. And for the purposes of this, because we're working on core strength, cross your arms and grab your elbows. And press into your elbows so that the forearms and the elbows are pressing into the ground. The heart's reaching forward and you're scrubbing your elbows back towards your hips. Staying here for just a moment as you breathe into it, allowing the shoulder blades to melt onto the back ribs, lifting your heart just a little bit higher. And on the exhale, look inward towards your belly. Draw your navel, your diaphragm, your hips, your pubic bone, and your thighs off the ground. Stay here for a moment, keeping that puffing of the kidneys up towards the sky. And on the exhale, bring the thighs back down, hip points down, pubic bone down, belly button down, diaphragm through the hole. We're going to do it again. Look inward. Press into the forearms, lift the diaphragm, belly button, hip points, pubic bone, thighs off the ground. Stay here for an extra breath. And then release pubic bone, hip points, belly button, diaphragm through the hole. And this time we're going to curl the toes under. Get your toes anchored into the ground and start to look inward. Belly button, diaphragm, hip points, pubic bone, thighs, and knees off the ground. And draw your attention forward as you scrub your elbows back, press your heels back. Stay with it for just a few more breaths. Come on, stay with it. You're not talking, I am. Stay with it. Keep breathing. Draw your belly button away from your shirt. And then draw your knees down. No clunking. Thighs, pubic bone, belly button, diaphragm through the hole. Take your hands underneath your forehead and relax into your hands. Just rock your hips a little bit. How y'all doing? Everybody's doing good? Hope you're having fun. And then release. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders and just push back. Bring yourself back onto your knees. And sitting upright onto your knees in Vajrasana, just sit upright. Take a moment here. And you can let your hands be in your lap. You can let them be on the sides, wherever you choose to have them. And I want you to try to focus on an added little element. I want you to draw your pubic bone, your two sit bones, and your navel center towards a pinch right about here. So as you do that, draw inward and upward and hold. Don't let your breath stop. Just hold those things together. Stay there for a moment. And then release. We'll do that one more time. Take your two sit bones, your pubic bone, and your navel center and pull them all together into one little spot, just under the navel. And just pull them all in and hold. And as you do that, try to expand your breath out. Expand your breath wide into your hands, your arms, your throat, your crown. Keep that contraction inward. And then release and draw it back to center. Good job. Let's come onto our sit bones and bring your legs around to the front. So remember that little chair pose that we did. We're going to do it sitting down. So bring your legs in, bring your knees together, and keep your knees even. And take your right hand around the back, take your left arm up to the sky, and bring your left elbow to the outside of your right knee, and start to make a turn towards the right side. Try to stay upright and bring your hands together, or you can fist over fist and lift up. Try not to slump. Try to stay lifted. Keep your knees even. Keep your knees together. If you're having trouble with any hip cramping, you can stick that block or the blanket between your knees, and you can use that to help. And then release and come on back to center. Stretch your legs out for a moment. Just shake them out in case you got any cramping going on in your knees or in the inner thigh. And then bring your legs back in. Draw up, get nice and tall. And then bring your left hand around the back. Take your right arm up. Bring your right elbow to the outside of your left knee and bring your palms together and try to turn. And maybe it's fist over fist. Try to stay lifted. Try not to slump. And keep your knees as even as possible as you turn. And then release and come on back to center. Stretch your legs back out. Give them a little bit of a shake. I'm going to turn sideways so it's easier for you to see. And here's a place where you might want to use your block if you know that you get a little crampy in the hips. So I'm going to let you start off with your hands on the ground like this, or you can have your hands underneath your thighs. You can choose to use the block or not use the block. Or if you have any sensitivities in your tailbone, some people actually have a vestigial tail where their tailbone is a little longer. And you can put a little blanket under there if you have that problem. So you can also, as I found out by one of my students who had broken his tailbone years ago, he would do this pose in a book. So this is Navasana. This is boat pose. So you're going to just start to draw back and lift your heart up towards your thighs. And keep your feet together, ankles together, knees together. Again, you can put the block between your knees if you choose, and you can either let go or not let go. And start to lift your heart. And then if you're feeling strong, you can bring it up to 90 degrees and squeeze your knees together. We're going to do just a little bit right now, and then we're going to go a little deeper. So stay here for about 3 breaths. 3, 2, 1. Shaking is good. It's the body's way of saying thank you. So we're going to do it 2 more times. This next time we're going to come back. You're going to bring your hands behind your thighs or on the floor. Bring your arms out. You're going to lift the right leg up, put the right leg down. Lift the left leg up, take the left leg down. Take the right leg up, take the right leg down. Take the left leg up, take the left leg down. Take the right leg up, take the right leg down. Take the left leg up, take the left leg down. Take both legs down. And just stretch your legs back out to the front. Take a moment to just draw forward over the front. And try not to draw too far over. We don't want to do a complete forward fold here. We just want to reset for a moment. Let your hands be on your shins or on the mat. And let your back be nice and long and straight rather than curved forward. And then walk it back. Walk your feet back in. And this time we're going to try to go for a whole boat. So lift off again. Bring your hands out. And then we're going to take the legs all the way up to the sky. I'm going to stay here for 3 breaths. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to start to widen, 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 until you're on the ground. And just lay there for a moment or two and feel the solidity and safety of the ground beneath you. You can shake it out a little bit, or you can stretch in both directions. And then just pull your right knee up into your chest. Keep your left leg extended. And keep it all the way pushing out through the heel of your foot as you pull your right knee in. And after you've been here for just a few moments, with your navel center drawing back into your spine, anchoring you to the ground without completely flattening out your low back, just keeping it natural, let go of your knee. You can take your hands to the ground. You can take your hands overhead. You can come into cactus, whatever feels comfortable for your shoulders. Keep the back of your head pressing into the ground. Keep your sit bones and your sacrum even on the ground. Keep your knee as tight in as you can, and try to imagine that that right foot is stepping on a step and the left foot is pushing out through a wall. And just stay there for a moment. And then lift your left leg up. And start to hold. Drawing your navel back towards your spine. You'll find a place where you'll start to shake, and that's okay. You do as much or as little of this as you choose. Stay here for another breath or two, keeping that left foot as close to the ground without touching as possible. Pressing out through the heel. It's going to want to migrate up because it's easier. Keep it as close to the ground as possible without touching. And then just draw both knees up into your chest and hug them in. Maybe rock a little bit on your back. And hold your left foot in and bring your right leg out. And let your right leg come all the way to the ground at first. And just feel that pressure out through the ball of your foot, through the heel of your foot. Imagine that you're standing on a step with your left and you're pressing into a wall with your right. And then let your arms just reach out to a cactus or a T, whatever you choose. And once you feel pretty secure here and strong, keep your sacrum engaged, keep your navel center pulled against the spine, and then bring that right leg up and try to keep it an inch or less off the ground. And just let it float. And you can test to see how close you are. The closer you are, the better it is. And keep trying to engage your navel center back towards the spine so you don't wind up with a contraction of your low back. And stay with this for 3 breaths. 3, 2, and 1. And bring both knees into your chest. And just hug them in and give it a little rock from side to side. Allowing yourself to massage your low back. Giving yourself a little bit of time on the ground. And then bring your knees out to about a 90-degree angle. So your knees are right over your hips. And bring your legs up so that your legs are at a 90-degree angle as well. And take your hands back and bring them back behind your head. And keep your elbows like angel's wings out to the side, just supporting the back of your head. And then press your tailbone down towards the ground. Press your sacrum into the ground. Engage your navel down towards your spine. And then on an inhale, lift your tailbone off the ground without bringing your knees closer to you. On the exhale, extend your right leg out, lift your body up, and take your right shoulder towards your left knee. You can extend that leg out fully, keep it slightly bent. You can bring it even lower to the ground and just hold. 3, 2, and 1. Come back in and keep that 90 degree. Keep your head up. Take a deep inhale in. Coil your tailbone off the ground. On the exhale, extend the left leg out. Bring your left shoulder toward your knee. Not your elbow, but your shoulder toward your knee. Shoulder blades off the ground as best you can. 3, 2, and 1. And draw back into center and put your feet back down on the ground. And just release your arms out overhead. Release your legs out to the front. Just extend out to the front and stretch. Maybe grab a hold of your right wrist with your left hand and just pull and extend the right leg longer. And then let the left leg reach out. Pull the left arm and reach out. And then release back to center. And we'll do one more. Bring your knees back up right over your hips and extend them out to a 90-degree angle. This time you can either bring your hands behind your head with your elbows pointing forward, or you can reach your hands through the hole. Keep your legs at 90, knees at 90, feet at 90. Take a deep inhale in, coil your tailbone off the ground, reach through the hole, and breathe. 3, 2, and 1. And come on back down. Keep your legs as they are. Take a deep breath in. Draw your navel down to your spine. Pull your tailbone down to the ground. And then as you inhale again, coil your tailbone up. Reach through the hole. And 3, 2, and 1. If you want to add more fun and more excitement, you can extend your legs all the way out and reach through the hole. Coiling up, coiling your tailbone off the ground and reaching up. 3, 2, and 1. And release. Bring your feet back to the ground. Keep your knees bent. Walk them out to the outside edges of the mat. And just drop your knees to the midline. Let your knees just rock over to the right. Trying to keep that left hip down as much as you can. And looking over the left shoulder. And then come on back to center. Drop your knees to the midline. And drop over to the left side. Let that knee come towards the center and look over your right shoulder. And come on back to center. Drop over to the right again. This time when you drop to the right, if you want a little more stretch in this area of the quad, you can take your right ankle and lay it on your left knee. And just allow the hip to extend out. If that hurts your knee in any way, don't do it. And just draw down and look over your left shoulder. Release your leg back. Come back to center. Drop over to the left side. When you get all the way to the left, take your left ankle and place it on your right knee. And then look over your right shoulder. And give it another 3 breaths. 2 and 1. And come on back to center. Bring your feet back into the midline. Draw your knees up into your chest. Give them a little bit of a rock from side to side. And then grab the outer edges of both feet and come into a happy baby. And just rock. You can even move your legs like you were in the bassinet, just to give your spine a deeper stretch and more exercise and more release. And then bring your feet together at the center line in Supta Konasana, bringing your heels towards your pubic bone and your toes towards your heart, and then lift up and roll up towards your feet. And hold for 3, 2, and 1. And release, and come down onto your back. Let your legs extend out. Let your arms release to the floor. I'm going to take a brief Shavasana. Try to imagine that all of the bones of your body got twice as heavy as they were. And they're just sinking into the floor. The floor is giving way to them, allowing them to sink more deeply, circling around you. Let your eyes close. Keep them pointed down. And start to let the breath get deep and even. Staying with your Shavasana, allowing yourself to relax. I came across a quote recently. It's one of my favorite quotes from a book I've been reading from for the last 25 years. And just listen as you finish your Shavasana. This quote, it's the Swami Chaityananda's book, The Breath of God, is called "Fear Acts Like a Centripetal Force." Fear is something that arises for most people. The reason for this is that any time a new area opens up for us, we recognize that allowing ourselves to flow into it will change us completely. And every human being has an innate and natural resistance to change. We know what we are already, but we don't know what we might become or what might become of us. Fear lies at the very foundation of what I call the mantra of stupidity. What's going to happen to me? If you think like this, all you do is wrap nets around yourself. This is because fear is a contraction of your energy. Into the space created because of that contraction, every kind of illusion arises. It's a self-feeding mechanism that only strengthens the ego. And at the same time, it is a dualistic experience because it reinforces your sense that you're separate from everything else and need to protect yourself. This dualism is the fundamental cause of pain and suffering. You have to override it. You have to make a conscious, determined effort within yourself to change the program. This is actually quite simple. What you have to do is to want to deeply grow. To want to grow in this way connects you to what's possible in your life. This is of complete benefit to you as an individual. Otherwise, fear acts like a centripetal force, drawing you back into the same patterns for which you've been programmed by much of your upbringing and experience. It draws you into the same orbit, the same original sin, if you will. Instead, feel deeply within yourself and require of yourself that you grow as a person. Begin to bring your awareness back to the floor beneath you and the comfort and security as it supports you. Identifying any areas of your body that require movement, bringing movement back to those. When you feel truly awake, stretch your toes out to front and your arms back overhead, stretching your body long and tall in both directions. Holding that stretch, take another deep inhale in and let it go with the sound of ah. And then release. Drawing your knees back into your chest, allow your body to roll to its right or left side. You choose which is appropriate for your body today. And using your hands and legs to assist you back, come back to a seated posture, bringing your palms together at the center of your heart. We'll share the sound of 3 Om Shantis. Shanti is the word for peace. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. My body is at peace. My body's peaceful. My mind is at peace. My mind is peaceful. My spirit is at peace. My spirit is peaceful. I am peaceful. Take a moment to reflect on an intention you choose for this day. And moving on into your week, maybe into your month and beyond. And I thank you for the honor of allowing me to come into your home and your space and bring you my class. Honor the divine person that you are. Namaste.